Hello, and a very good morning, a very good afternoon, and a very good evening based on the time in which you'll be watching this video. I also want to wish everyone, those who are having their birthday today, or who had their birthdays in the previous days, and who will be having their birthdays in the upcoming days. I want to wish all of you a very happy birthday, be it belated or advanced or today. And I also hope that every one of you will be doing very well in your life, and every one of you will be happy and also keep smiling the way you all always do. I hope that every one of you is doing well, along with everyone in your family, and I'm also hoping that you all are using this time productively and also enjoying this time in the lockdown. Now, in the previous video lecture, we were discussing, or we were dealing with Asia. We had seen that Asia, as you can see in this map, Asia is a very huge continent, and Asia is there somewhere, or some places of Asia, especially near Russia. You'll be finding it that it is near the Arctic Circle. You can find the Arctic Circle. You can see that the Arctic Circle is here, and then some places of Asia you'll be finding that they are near the equator also. Some places near Maldives, the places near Indonesia, Malaysia, these places are near the equator. So these places, when we talk of Asia, and when we see that Asia is encompassing a wide number of latitudes and longitudes, we'll be finding that Asia is there near the Arctic Circle, Asia is near the equator over here. So what we find over here is, we all know that the Arctic Circle happens to be very cold, and the places near the equator, as you all know, as this places near the equator faces the direct rays of the sun nearly throughout the year. So these places near the equator are really very hot all throughout the year. So you can see that Asia has both extremes of temperatures, the cold ones and very cold temperatures, and also the very warm and very hot temperatures. This was just an example to tell you that Asia is a continent of extremes. Asia over here, we can see, and as we'll be seeing in the upcoming examples, Asia is a continent of extremes, and that is why Asia has such because Asia has such huge variations in temperature, climate, and also such it encompasses, or it passes through so many different latitudes and longitudes. Now what we see over here is the Mount Everest, and the Mount Everest happens to be the highest mountain of the world, and it is also found in Asia, more particularly in Nepal. Mount Everest is also called the Sagarmatha in Nepal, or the Nepalese, the people of Nepal, call the Mount Everest the Sagarmatha. This Mount Everest is found in Asia. Asia has the highest mountain peak of the world, or Asia has the highest mountain of the world, and alongside that we also have the lowest. And what we see over here is the Dead Sea, or a picture of the Dead Sea. Now Dead Sea happens to be the lowest point on the earth, or on the continental crust. There are two kinds of crust. If you all remember me telling you all in class, there are two kinds of crusts, the oceanic crust and the continental crust. The crust which is there lying above the continents, or not above the continents, the crust that is making up the continents is called the continental crust, and the crust which is lying underneath the oceans is called the oceanic crust. Now the Dead Sea over here is the deepest point in the continent, or in all the continental crust. Dead Sea is the deepest point. Now the Dead Sea, why is it called the Dead Sea? It is called the Dead Sea because it contains a huge amount of salt. What is the reason behind it? The reason behind it is this, that the Dead Sea has no outlet, or the water of the Dead Sea has been keeping on evaporating for so many thousands of years, and it has no fresh water coming into it, neither any water getting out of the Dead Sea. So what is actually happening is that as the water keeps on evaporating over here, the salt starts accumulating, or as the water starts moving away, the salt content starts increasing. And because Dead Sea is lying Dead Sea is lying in very hot areas of Asia, so the water keeps on evaporating, leaving behind huge quantities of salt. So Dead Sea is called the Dead Sea because of this high salt content, which does not allow fishes and other animals or organisms to survive in this Dead Sea, or in this sea. The only organisms which can survive in the Dead Sea are bacteria. So Dead Sea is called the Dead Sea. Now you all understand why, or know why. Also, the Dead Sea has another important fact. It is that people do not actually sink in the Dead Sea. They keep on floating, because of the density which has increased so much because of the high accumulation of the salt that Dead Sea does not allow anyone to sink. So you can see that Asia contains the highest mountain peak, that is the Mount Everest, and also the lowest point of the continents or in the continental crust in all of the earth. So Asia is land of extreme, truly the land of extreme. The highest point the Mount Everest and the lowest point the Dead Sea. To give another example of this of that Asia is land of extremes, we can find that we have the Tibetan Plateau in Asia. You can find it over here in this map, that the Tibetan Plateau over here. Now Tibetan Plateau is an intermontane plateau. Intermontane plateau means a plateau which is surrounded by mountains on sides. So over here we have the Tian Shan and the Kunlun mountains of China. Over here we have the Himalayas, that is in Nepal and India. So this Tibetan plateau over here is one of the highest places in the world and the highest plateau. Now such a huge plateau at such a height, it truly makes sense to call this the roof of the world, as in the topmost part of the world, because of that flat land, the table land on the plateau top, which we all know that a plateau has a table land or a flat land on the top. So because of this huge flat land and at such a height, this is called the roof of the world. Now this Tibetan plateau is in Asia. Also we have the Tarim Basin in Asia. This Tarim Basin over here, this Tarim Basin which you can see in the map as it is pointed by this arrowhead. The Tarim Basin is one of the greatest depressions or low-lying points or parts of this planet. So Tarim Basin is also found in Asia alongside the Tibetan Plateau, and you can see the location of the Tarim Basin is somewhere near the Tibetan Plateau itself. So the Tibetan Plateau is also in Asia, which is the one of the highest roofs, or which is the one of the highest plateaus of the world, called the roof of the world. And the Tarim Basin, which is also in Asia, which happens to be a very low-lying point of the world. Both of these are in Asia. Now over here we can see that there's a picture of a delta. The Ganga Brahmaputra delta, which happens to be the largest delta of the world, is found in Asia, which we all know better as the Sundarbans. It is called Sundarbans because of the Sundari trees that is found in the delta. So this Ganga Brahmaputra delta or the Sundarbans is found in Asia. We all know that it is there in places in West Bengal and in Bangladesh. So the Ganga Brahmaputra delta is found in Asia, and this Ganga Brahmaputra delta, as you can see, is filled with lush green trees and forests. This kind of a place is found in Asia, and also this kind of a place is found in Asia. So one side we have such a lush green and a place filled with so many trees and plants with water, and over here we have a dry land, a wasteland, a desert. So both of these are found in Asia. So Asia is, this example also proves that Asia is a continent of contrasts or a continent of extremes. Now the vegetation, the natural vegetation of Asia, when we talk of the natural vegetation of Asia, we will find that there are so many different kinds of vegetations which are found in Asia. When we look at the map of Asia, on the topmost part we have the very dry regions, and also there are so many deserts in Asia, the Gobi Desert, the Arabian Desert, the Thar Desert of India. And in the desert areas we'll find these kinds of plants and trees. We'll find that there are xerophytic plants and trees. As you can see over here, these are dry plants which grow in very dry areas, and there is very little vegetation in the desert areas. So this is the kind of vegetation we find in the deserts. These are the kinds of vegetation we find in the desert areas. And this kind of a vegetation, these are called the tundra. These are mosses and lichens. The mosses and lichens will be found in areas which are very cold, which cannot support very huge or very big trees and plants. So these areas, these are mosses and lichens. These are more or less like microorganisms which grow on trees and are in places which have very less nutrient content. So these kinds of vegetation are found in Asia. We have one side the very dry vegetation which is found in the desert. We have the mosses and the lichens, and we also have vegetation like these, such lush green vegetation which is found in areas in Mawsynram, so or in any other area, or areas where there is proper rainfall and there is equatorial forests. We have such kind of vegetation also. So these kind of vegetation, the lush green trees one side, the desert vegetation one side, the mosses and lichens one side. So we find that Asia again over here in terms of vegetation also is a continent of contrast. Now Mawsynram, also called the wettest place in earth, is found in Asia. Mawsynram is a place near Cherrapunji, Meghalaya, in the Indian state of Meghalaya. Mawsynram receives the highest amount of rainfall in the earth, and this is the wettest place. So we have places like these also in Asia. This picture over here, picture of Mawsynram, and again we have places like these, such dry areas which do not receive rainfall for many years. Such desert areas are also found in Asia. So over here on one side we have very wet places, and one side we have very dry places. So in this context also we find that Asia again is a land of contrasts, or a land of extremes. Now over here, what do we find over here? This picture is of Verkhoyansk. Verkhoyansk happens to be the coldest area, or the coldest place on the planet, or the coldest inhabited place in the world. Meaning of inhabited means that people live over there. So Verkhoyansk over here, Verkhoyansk in the Siberian part of Russia, or in the very higher parts, places near the Arctic Circle, where Verkhoyansk is located there in Russia. So this place Verkhoyansk happens to be the coldest inhabited place of the world. Temperatures reaching as low as -70 degrees Celsius. So this place is also found in Asia. On the other hand, we have a place, Jacobabad in Pakistan. Jacobabad, as you can see over here, Jacobabad in Pakistan is one of the hottest place in the world, with temperature rising up to 50 degrees Celsius. Now 50 degrees Celsius also happens to reach in many places in India also. But Jacobabad has recorded 50 degree and above temperatures. So Jacobabad over here is one of the hottest place in the world. So you can see over here that the coldest inhabited place in the world is also there in Asia, that is Verkhoyansk, and one of the most hottest places on the earth or on this planet, Jacobabad, is also there in in Asia, in the country of Pakistan. So again over here, Asia, or by this also Asia proves that it is the land of contrasts. And what do we have here? Let us see. It is the comparison of the Great Lakes. As you can see over here, that Lake Baikal, look at the depth of the Lake Baikal and the comparison of the depth of the other Great Lakes, or the Great Lakes of Northern America. We can find that Lake Baikal is very deep. So Lake Baikal over here is the deepest point, or is the deepest lake in the world, and the Lake Baikal contains the Lake Baikal is the deepest point in deepest lake in the earth, which is found in Russia. Now, Lake Baikal also has the largest volume of fresh water on the earth. This means that 1/5 of the fresh water in the entire world is located in Lake Baikal. I'll be just telling you the length of the Lake Baikal. The Lake Baikal is 640 kilometers long, and judging by the dimension, it is more like a sea than a lake. Lake Baikal is also the world's most ancient freshwater lake, and it originated 20 to 25 million years ago. So this Lake Baikal is present in Asia. Lake Baikal, the deepest lake in the earth, is present in Asia. Also we have the Caspian Sea. The Caspian Sea is also found in Asia. The Caspian Sea happens to be the largest inland lake of the world. So Caspian Sea is also found in Asia. And lastly, what do we have? So as to prove that Asia is a land of contrast, we have cold deserts like the Thar Desert. We have very cold desert like the Thar Desert. You can see places like these, the desert areas, the Thar Desert, the Arabian Desert, and one more point which proves that Asia is a land of contrast or extreme. What do we see over here? We see over here a picture of the Gobi Desert. Gobi Desert happens to be one of the most coldest deserts of the world. So the coldest desert is the Atacama, but Gobi Desert is also a cold desert. So we have places like the Gobi Desert also in Asia, a cold desert. And if Asia on one hand has the Gobi Desert, a very cold desert, then Asia also has on the other hand a very hot desert like the Arabian Desert or the Thar Desert in India. So we can see over here, and by this example also, that Asia truly is a land of contrasts and extremes. So I hope and I guess that every one of you understood by these examples that why Asia is called the land of contrasts or the land of extremes. Now, the remaining part of this chapter, the political divisions of Asia, will be covered in the next lecture. And till then, I hope that every one of you uses this time productively and also stays happy, keeps everyone around you happy, and keeps enjoying the lockdown. Thank you.